Subclan?
The Godia clan, Mantan subclan.
The Godia. So you have 6 the Godia candidates who ran in this election?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now,
Six out of 9.
6 out of 9. And the petitioner comes also from the Godia clan?
Yes, it does.
Would you say that there are other residents of who reside in Wajir County who do not have much loyalty to the clan, but would rather support a candidate because of what they propagate in terms of vision and policy?
There will be those that do not have any clan loyalty or an affiliation to any of the clans that are contesting. There is a significant minority of non-locals, Kenyans from other counties. And also within our clans, there might be 2, 3 on the ballot, but there will probably be another 10, 15, 20, 30 that are not on the ballot. So yes, and also the people who will support others cross clan and sub-clans on account of what they believe of that person and their vision. So clan is a factor, yes, sub-clan is a factor, but can never be the only factor.
You confirm that the non-locals also who have quite a bit of population in Wajir town supported you and probably contributed to your victory?
In a big way, yes.
Now, lastly, Governor, there was a claim by the petitioner that the numbers that you scored in Wajir West were rather bizarre, because in some stations you scored up to 90% of the votes. Can you be able to explain to this court briefly your response to that?
Your Honor, I've read that claim in the petition, but it's not supported by the numbers, and numbers don't lie. The petitioner says I got 90% in most of the polling stations. The question then is, how does my average turn out to be about 57% in Wajir West? So within your presumed strongholds, there will be places you will score higher. There will be places where you won't score much also, because as I said, even within those strongholds, there will be dynamics that come into play. But comparing what I got in my backyard, being the only governor candidate in my sub-clan, I've not done as well as the petitioner and his other sub-clan members have done in their backyard, and I'll prove that statistic.
Okay. And therefore, Governor, your response is that this petition lacks merit and it is not supported by any evidence.
That is my humble submission.
Governor, I'll hand you over to my colleagues for cross-examination, and then we'll come back to re-examination and clarify issues that might arise.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the witness is ready for cross.
When I represented you in a petition that was filed against you, is that right?
Yeah, Counsel, this was my lawyer in 2013.
So we have a long history in terms of the gubernatorial contestation. Honorable Ambassador Mahmoud Abdi, who was then declared the winner.
Yes, I contested that win in court.
In the High Court, you were successful, as well as in the Court of Appeal, is that correct?
Yes.
And that win was overturned by those two courts and then reversed by the Supreme Court. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is the third time you're contesting. Just in terms of the numbers, if we can start from there, Honorable Wajir, do you remember what the numbers were in 2013? I know it's a long time ago. Maybe we can just start from there. In terms of the declared win.
The exact numbers.
2017? 2013, I think it's a while ago. 2017 might be a bit closer.
Not remember exact numbers as well.
Was Ambassador Mahmoud declared the winner with around 35,000 of the votes?
I'll have to check that too.
Okay. And you can, do you remember the margin of victory that he was declared to have won with? Around 7,000 votes?
I guess there it is.
I have seen your affidavit. Let's now go to the affidavit. And let's start, I'll come back to the issue of the clan dynamics. But let's start with Eldas. This starts at paragraph 13 of your affidavit.
Yes.
The election in Eldas, when was it adjourned? Was it on the morning of 9th or was it on the 8th?
It was adjourned on the 9th, I remember.
The day of the election, is that correct? The day of the election.
The day of the election.
And other than this communication from the chairman, the one that you've annexed, which appears at page 35, which was posted, and I believe there was a TV communication. Was there any other communication from IEBC to the candidates by way of email?
No, not to me at least.
So this was the only communication that was conveyed by the chairman of IEBC to the
yes.
to the candidates.
Your Honor, we all monitor it through our chief agents until when this formal communication came. And it's my position that the returning officers who were talking to their bosses, that's how the decision was.
Okay. So let's look at paragraph 19 of the affidavit. Paragraph 19 of the affidavit. You say the constituency and county returning informed the candidates, myself included, of what had transpired and the reasons that necessitated that adjournment. There was no such communication, is that correct?
It didn't come to me directly, but through my agents. I was communicating to returning officers, not directly, but through my agents.
So you, as a gubernatorial election, I'm only concerned about the gubernatorial election. I mean, candidates, you did not receive any communication postponing this election on the 9th of August. You only became aware that the elections have been postponed much later on. Is that true?
At the point of receiving that communique is when it became formal.
Do you remember what time this communique was made? Midday?
Around midday
Lunchtime?
on the 9th days.
Around midday. And if you look at that document at page 35 to 38, it doesn't have a time indication. It says good afternoon, so it was after midday, is that correct?
Yes.
It was not in the morning. So the first time anyone got wind or got any communication from the IBC was in the afternoon of the 9th of August.
And as far as the adjournment is concerned,
Yes, just about the adjournment for us. So that is the first communication, which was in the afternoon of the 9th of August. Before that, there had been no communication whatsoever that the election in Eldas would be adjourned. Is that true?
formal communication, yes, in writing. But as I said, Your Honor, the agents were talking to the returning officers, and from where I was in my house, I kept talking to them, and they kept telling us that they're waiting for guidance. They're still trying to resolve the issues.
Who was your chief agent in Eldas constituency?
One Abdullah Yusuf.
Abdullah Yusuf. You confirmed to the judge that he's not a witness in this petition.
He is not.
Okay, so we cannot verify what time, in terms of the evidence that's on record, what time that communication was made to the chief agents in Eldas constituency. Is that correct?
Yes, he's not a witness in this case.
All right, thanks. On the 9th, did you visit Eldas on the 9th?
No, I did not.
So you cannot verify the situation that was at Eldas Constituency Tallying Center, the CDF hall.
I had agents on the ground, my chief agent.
Yeah, and the chief agent is not here as well. And I totally understand. You work through chief agents, but the chief agent for Eldas is not one of your witnesses. I know you have the chief agent for Wajir West and the chief agent for Wajir East. But the one for Wajir, for Eldas is not one of the witnesses in this petition. So that situation on the ground on the 9th of August, you cannot independently verify what was happening on the ground. Is that true?
The result, what resulted in the adjournment is as per the explanation given by the IEBC chair, and I think it's IEBC that adjourned the election.
Yes.
I guess it's then a better opportunity to explain.
And that's fair enough, because they will come here and then explain it. But do you know what time that violence or that incident was contained on the 9th?
On the 9th.
Did the incident start in the evening of 8th? Because the election material is collected in the evening, is that correct? On
Depends.
the eve of the election?
It depends. Sometimes it's collected in the morning.
In the morning, early in the morning. Governor, as the third-time candidate, and I know your chief agent said you had contested other seats before the gubernatorial one. Do you remember what time does your election start?
6 a.m.
6. So presumably the material would have been collected before 6, is that correct?
For most places.
For most places, even with us, the polling officials and the IBC official would have been there before 6 to collect this material. And in fact, from experience, they collected from even the midnight, the previous day, depending on how far the distances are. Is that correct?
I would presume that's right.
Yeah, so
no problem.
From the information that you have, because you don't speak to that in your affidavit, what time did this incident start in Eldas?
I don't know.
What time was it contained?
It wasn't contained in good time to conduct the election on 9th. Hence, the decision of IEBC postponing to the time.
But you do not know the time.
I don't know.
You do not know the time. But you confirm it was contained.
Yes, and that's
From
why
the
elections
information
were
given
held
to you
on the
by
10th.
IEBC. Just from the information given to you by IEBC, I think other than just what the chairman says, and I know this is in the province of IEBC, and they will come here to give, you have no information about what time this incident was contained. Is that true?
No, I don't have the exact time.
Okay. No problem. Now, did you deploy agents to the Eldas constituency? I'm dealing with Eldas now, because I'm going sequentially with affidavit.
Yes, I deployed agents to all constituencies.
And I'm
To the best of my
specific to
ability
Eldas.
to all police stations.
Yeah, you have agents in all the polling stations in Eldas?
Yes.
Okay. Eldas has how many polling stations to the best of your memory?
72.
Around 72. So you had 72 agents in Eldas, right? Okay. Now, just look at your affidavit before we go to the allegations in Eldas. Paragraph 13 to 15, we talk about the incident at 16. This is on the basis of information given to you by IEBC, is that correct? You do not make any reference to your chief agent having independently verified this information. The chairman of IEBC,
Yes.
but not from what your chief agent told you about Eldas.
It's pretty much in line with everything my chief agent and everyone else that I spoke to in Eldas said. So I have no problem with it. It was my understanding of the facts even before the communique, based on what I was told by my chief agent.
Sorry?
It was
on your understanding in terms of what happened in Eldas on the 9th.
Yes.
Are you aware that there was?
Yes, I was also informed by my chief agent
Wajir East?
of something that happened along the road.
Yeah, you remember which ward that was?
A vehicle that was stopped, people were told to come out, and the vehicle was banned. That's
Was
what
banned.
I
So this this was on the 6th of August and the 7th of August, is that correct?
I can't remember the exact date, but it was, yeah, a few days too.
But you are aware of that incident?
I was told, yes, I heard of it.
In Konton?
I can't remember the exact place.
But it was on
The
Wajir
road.
East? Yes.
You know.
That statement of paragraph 20 is not correct because you just confirmed there were incidents in Wajir East that you are aware of as a candidate.
Yeah, but they didn't affect anything. That's what I'm saying.
No. We'll come back to that. Did you visit Honorable Wajir? You know you're a former governor. Did you visit Wajir East in the period preceding the election?
Yes, I campaigned in that area.
On the 6th?
Not on the 6th.
That was the last day of campaigns. Is that correct? Until 6:30?
Yes, but I didn't campaign there on the last day.
When were you last in Wajir East?
No. And you know, Wajir East has 4 wards.
Yes.
And 3 of the wards are in the town.
That's in the town, yes.
So even on the polling day, I was in the town. And there's no problem.
So
Yes.
I wanted just to confirm that you were there. So in this ward,
Yes.
where Port of Harar,
Mm.
where this incident happened,
Yes.
when was the last time you campaigned there?
I can't remember, but probably not too far from the election date. I can't remember the exact date.
Was it any period, 1 week before, 2 weeks before?
Probably about 2 weeks before.
So 2 weeks before the election.
Yeah.
The incident subject matter of the petition was a few days to the election. You did not visit that ward a few days to the election, is that true?
I don't know how many would be a few days to you.
3 days?
No, 3 days I didn't visit, not that ward.
4 days?
No,
Even 7 days before the election, is that true?
I wouldn't remember that. Because I don't know the next time I went there in.
It
It
was
was
affected.
close to the election,
Yes.
but the exact date, I don't know.
After the incident,
Because it's just one ward.
it's one
out
ward
of 4.
Out of 4. That's true.
And it's not one ward where I expected a lot of votes from, so not much effort for me in that regard. I mean,
How many voters are registered in that ward, Honorable Wajir?
I would have to check that.
Yeah, so there are substantial voters registered in that ward. You didn't expect many, but there are substantial voters. Is that okay? Now, this incident in Port of Harar, you never visited that period, so you did not, and you did not get independent, you do not speak to the independent verification of the incidents in Port of Harar, is that true? You have no
Who would
first-hand
be
information about the severity of this incident, this attack.
I talked to the security officers, you know, you call people and ask, you know, and it wasn't anything that would stop elections. Just by the way, I mean, it's not the only place where something happened. 2 days to the election, I went to a place called Hadado in my stronghold, and we buried 4 people. 2 days to the election.
Was that because of a militia attack?
It was because of a militia attack, cross-border militia attack, clan clashes, from, you know, incursions from Isiolo, right?
That's from Isiolo.
Yes.
And this one.
And so this kind of insecurity, the county is vast, it's 57,000 square kilometers.
Yes.
So there will be isolated incidents. The fact that we buried 4 people 2 days to the election did not warrant postponement of elections in my party.
Was there any vehicle banned in Hadar?
People were killed.
The people were killed.
There's 4 people were killed.
But this were clan-related disputes between Isiolo
It's
and
militia, unarmed militia crossing over to kill 4 people. In this other instance, from what I got, what I was told, no one was killed. So here we lost lives, which is Rossi.
But was the incident in Hadado related to any election? You cannot tell. Is that
I wouldn't tell. I wouldn't tell.
Was that the first time there was an incident in Hadado on the border between Isiolo?
No, it wasn't.
And
But it
Wajir?
was also the first time that something security-related happened in that area of Harar Compton as well.
How many other incidents are you aware of prior to the elections in Port of Harar ward?
I can't remember how many there are, but generally security incidents happen in that part of the country, whether they are clan-related or the threat of Al-Shabaab. And that's why around, even in Harar, there are special forces to try and keep peace. In many places, even in Wajir West, there are special forces. In Tarbaj, there are special forces. It comes with the territory, I suppose.
So you confirmed to the court that there are special forces in Wajir East, and especially in Port of Harar ward, is that true?
Not only Wajir East, I see also
saying
Wajir
you
West, in Tarbaj,
Let's start with...
in Wajir South.
Was there any incidents in Tarbaj in the days preceding the election?
I can't recall, but there were many incidents in that last 1 year in many places in Wajir.
I don't know whether you
and even after elections there.
I don't know whether you've read the affidavits, but are you aware that there was no incident in the preceding year in Korofara ward until this incident a few days to the election?
As I said, I can't remember the timing, but there were many incidents of security generally.
Did you get any briefing from the constituency returning officer for Wajir East on this incident?
As I said, all briefings to me were through my agents, and I kept talking to my chief agent whenever I had something, and there was nothing to warrant anything that would make me worry as far as Harar ward is concerned.
Let us just clarify something. Before the election date, is it not true IBC was communicating with the candidates and not the chief agents? The chief agents became active, or their role became relevant on the day of the election. Is that true? And the days after the election. Before the election, the constituency returning officer and the county returning officer was dealing with the candidates.
Picked my chief agent and I sent my agents out. It was my chief agents that I was talking to. Have you taken agents to these places? How is the situation? Is everything okay? And even on election day, I was calling them as the election started. What reports are you receiving from your agent?
On the day of the election, were there any agents in any of the areas the day any time before the election? Agents only became agents on the day of the election, so they were appointed before. Their role became active on the day of the election. Is that not true?
We had appointed our chief agents.
That's true.
Agents.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. But I'm just saying.
You talk to the local chief.
So you're talking to the local chief. You're talking to the. But I'm asking. The IBC would not communicate to the agents before the date of the election. So what I'm asking, just get a briefing as a candidate in the gubernatorial election about Port of Harar Ward on the days preceding the election. That's the question.
No. The briefing that we got that I remember was when all agents were invited and taken through the process. Yeah, days to the election.
Yeah, but not about this insecurity in Port of Harar.
No.
Is that true? Now, so the statement in paragraph 20, that's why I'm coming, that you could not speak to whether or not this incident affected the elections in Korofara Ward because you did not have the information regarding this incident. Is that true?
If it affected IBC, would have given some communique like that, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. So
whether it's safe enough to conduct the elections or not, I think that is not in my...
that is for the IBC.
That's not in my place.
No,
as a candidate.
No, I'm just saying, as a candidate, you did not receive, you as the ODM candidate, any communication regarding this incident in Korofara Ward. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And you did not visit Korofara Ward to make an independent assessment of the situation on the ground. Is that true?
I didn't deem it necessary.
Okay. So, because as a candidate for Wajir West, you did not deem it necessary to go to East because you did not expect many votes. True?
Not many people, I mean, we're dealing with deaths on the other side. Here I was told what happened, and other than the people coming out of the vehicle, it looked manageable to me.
How many people are affected by this incident?
I don't know.
You do not know. Thank you.
But the road was open the rest of the day, and people were still, because even my agents, some of them went even after that. Usually the same road.
When did they go through using that road? Are you aware of how the election material was transported to Korofara Ward?
That's best answered by IBC.
Yeah. Would you be surprised that the IBC could not transport the material by road because of insecurity, and they had to resort to using helicopters?
And sometimes helicopters are used, I guess, not only for security purpose, but the vastness of the territory.
Was there any other ward where material was delivered by chopper?
There are many places, I suppose, because of time.
Even in
but I didn't deem it necessary to ask which places and how the material was taken.
So, so as I'm telling you, so we have witnesses who have testified.
My Lord, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I think my friend should be a bit more specific. From what we know, is that there was only one polling station whereby materials were delivered by helicopter as controlled. primary. So when
Material, including exam material to places in Northeastern, it was just too fast. I think it makes more sense. But I can tell you, suffice it to say that my agents used the same road after the incident and the police said,
And you confirm your chief agent is not here to verify that information. So you know that, I know you didn't, other than the wards adjacent to the headquarters of Wajir East in Korov Harar ward, you never visited on the day of election.
Council, my chief agent for JST will take the standards of doing.
And I'm just saying, you as Honorable Wajir, as a candidate for the gubernatorial election, you never visited Korov Harar ward on the day of the election. Is that true?
Yes, I didn't.
Thank you. Now, we come to paragraph 21. You say, and I know you are not here when the witness for the petitioner testified, one of the agents of the petitioner confirmed that in Korov Harar ward, I had my objection from Malan and Mr. Candidates. Would you confirm that that is a primary consideration for adjournment of elections?
Oh yes, it is.
The well-being of the polling official.
But I will hasten to add, counsel, that the severity of the risk is best determined by the security personnel of the IBC.
And
not by the
IBC. No, that's true. It is not
on its own merit.
on its own merit.
And if it's deemed not to be severe, then elections go on. As I said, we were barring 4 people 2 days to elections, and the security personnel on the ground nor IBC deemed it necessary to.
Did you lodge a complaint about Haddad Obey?
No, but I also didn't hear of any formal complaint lodged by any candidate about Haddad.
Are you aware the petitioner here lodged a complaint with the county returning officer and the constituency returning officer?
I am not aware. Was it in writing, counsel, we may ask?
No, a complaint is a complaint. Is a complaint only a complaint when it's in writing?
It's easier to verify that. It should have been part of the paperwork filing course.
Yeah, it's. But you've also confirmed that there was no communication to your agents in writing by the IBC. Is that true? I thought you said that the communication was there to your chief agents.
Who better to communicate than the chair of IBC? That came to us in writing.
No.
The whole country, which is a severe matter.
No, that's the IBC chairman. Because that one we know. But at paragraph 19, you speak about the constituency and returning officers communicating to the candidates, yourself included, and the reasons for that. And when I asked you about
What transpired between the returning officer and the petition?
and just on that point, did you get any request in writing copy to the candidates from the county and or constituency returning officer regarding the dust before the chairperson communicated this? So there was no communication. The only way he became aware of this situation is by what he was informed by the constituency returning officer regarding what was transpiring at CDF. And it's the same way you got the communication regarding what was happening in the dust through telephone communication. Is that true?
Make progress, yes.
Thank you. And it's the same way that the petitioner communicated.
Council will ask the IBC returning officer.
So I'm just saying, it's the same way the communication reached you, is the same way the communication reached IBC by way of telephonic communication.
So as of now, because I was not part of that.
You're not part of that conversation, so you cannot defend the decision by IBC. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Why they postpone in one area and they did not postpone. If the consideration is the same, that the safety and security of the voters is paramount. Is that true?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, the elections for Eldas were held on the 10th. Is that true?
Yes.
Are you aware? Let me just show you something. Just about this. Is that true?
Yes.
It's time to be 36. I just want to show you something and then ask you a question. This is what the chairman said. As you are aware, elections for the gubernatorial elected position in the Kakamega and Mombasa counties and for the member of the National Assembly for which labor are postponed to a later date to the amount of you confirm.
There's a mix-up in the national.
In the papers, I'm saying the reasons were different, but I'm just saying that one election was postponed while the other 5 continued.
And it has been held way after the requirement to declare the elections in
Are the rules, are you aware whether the Elections Act gives timelines for elections and adjournments and postponements? It's not specific, is it?
I wouldn't know that. That's based on
So you cannot speak to that as you testify today.
But
That's-
I would, I'm meant to understand that elections happened, the first ones that started streaming,
Yes.
to the best of my memory I recall, were on the morning of 12th.
That's the first result you received?
Yes, started streaming.
Announcement at the polling station is different. I'm not talking about declaration, I'm talking about announcement. Where are the results announced for each election? For each polling station?
At the polling station, yes.
At the polling station. So the votes are counted,
Yes.
and the presiding officer announces the results for each respective election. Is that true? Is it your evidence that in Wajir County, the results were announced on the 12th?
The formal declared results from each sub-county came to us on 12th. But
I'm
the
not
earliest,
talking-
the earliest results that started streaming to us were, in my, if I recall, on the 11th. And those were coming polling station by polling station.
Are you aware that the chief agent for Wajir West, where you come from, testified as a first witness, as your first witness?
Yes,
And he confirmed under oath that he had majority of the results on the 9th and the last ones on the morning of the 10th.
then once submitted to me, because for me, I started collecting from them after, and they were sent to my tallying center, because the agents were dealing with my tallying center. So they said, for most of the results that I know, we started getting them on the 11th. Probably late 10th night and 11th.
Who was receiving the results for Wajir West? Was it your chief agent or was it you?
Results for US. Once they were declared.
Once they were announced, you know, because I know the terminology could be different, but announcement is at the polling station. Who was receiving the results as they were being announced from each respective polling station? Let me start with Wajir West. Was it you or was it your chief agent?
I mean, there are over 600 polling stations. It doesn't make sense for me to start collating as a person, polling station by polling station.
Ahmed, you don't answer my question.
Yeah.
Who was receiving the results as they were being announced from each polling station for Wajir West?
I
Was it you
received the
or was
results.
it your chief agent?
I received the results from each of the sub-county, each of the constituency after they were declared, after they were collected.
No, that's you. I'm
Yes.
just asking. That's the evidence you want to place on record. But just listen to the question. My question is simple. Who was receiving the results from the agents who have been deployed to each polling station after results were announced at each respective polling station? That's a different announcement.
Right.
I'm not talking about declaration by constituency returning officer. I'm talking about results being announced and Form 37A being handed over. Who was receiving those results?
You know, some could have even been sent directly to the chief agent, some to the constituency agent, but the way the system was working was from the agent to the chief agent, then when the chief agent has, to the constituency chief agent.
Yes,
Constituency chief agent.
So the first
The
point of call,
constituency chief agent.
let's pause there.
Now, let me finish.
Please.
Don't disturb my thought process. And the constituency chief agent then, having verified what the results are,
Yes,
obtained 100% of the forms
yes.
and tabulated or whatever, would send those to the tallying center, which was running in my house, and to the countywide chief agent.
So
But me receiving directly polling station by polling station
that was not for you.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so as I'm saying, this result was being sent to your chief agents, is that correct?
At the sub-county,
At each constituency? At each
at the
constituency. Let's start from there.
constituency, terminology,
And you had an agent for each constituency, is that correct?
yes.
So, and they received the results and then they communicated to you after they had tallied and verified.
What I would want to know is how much did I get in Wajir West? How much did I get in Turbot? How much did I get in others?
So that's what we wanted to know.
Yeah.
That's not the question I'm asking. The question is, when were the results availed to chief agents? Do you know?
I wouldn't think they would all come at the same time.
If you don't know, say you don't know.
I don't know.
You do not know.
Yes.
So, I'm
But
just
confirmed
informing
results,
you that the chief
confirmed
agent-
results
Yes.
of any polling station, how much, of any constituency, verified that so and so won in that constituency, only came to us, started coming to us on the morning of 12th.
That is declaration. And that declaration is done by constituency. I'm not talking about declaration. I'm talking about the results being available to your chief agent and then knowing what you have garnered in each respective polling station, you cannot tell. Is that
Council,
true?
if you are asking the results of a particular polling station, then why not ask the polling station?
No,
And
no,
that
no.
is not a polling station, it's a constituency.
No, that's not my question. My question, Honorable Wajir, is this. The chief agent was here for Wajir West. He confirmed he had all the results on the 9th. And the last one he got in the morning of the 10th. So by the morning of the 10th, for Wajir West, and I presume this was for all the other constituencies, they had the results.
Having gone through this paperwork and having talked to my chief agent for Wajir West, I have nowhere it says that he received the results on the 9th.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, he was there where you were standing, and he confirmed that to the judge, and the judge confirmed that. I asked him.
I
that's
also
the-
watched his submission, and I didn't hear that, unless you want to bring him back to stand.
You know, I'm the one who was asking the question, and he was answering me. You watched, I'm not sure what you watched, but he confirmed on the oath he had the results on the 9th.
I think the court's a court of record, I'm sure my lawyers will respond.
No, that's no problem. So you have the results. I'm just telling you what Mr. Hussein, I'll actually just confirm, it's called Ahmed Hussein, who was the chief agent, confirmed that he had all the results on the evening of the 9th and the morning of the 10th. Is that correct? So by the time voting started in Al-Das,
To my knowledge, it's not correct, Council.
no problem. By the time voting started in Al-Das, most of the chief agents had the results. Is that not true?
Not true at all.
You did not have them until they verified. Is that correct?
I do not have the declared results, but if
How
they
many
had
were
any
declared?
results, even if they're not declared, they will have given me. I did not get any results of any constituency in totality until the morning of 12.
That's when you
Because I
received-
also had a tallying agent in my house.
Who's
And
the
I would
tallying-
walk from my sitting room to a tallying agent every 2 hours.
Thank you
And they
very
didn't
much.
have it.
Who's the tallying agent?
The tallying agent in my house.
Not in
There were-
any constituency tallying.
There were
tallying
many.
center.
It was being run by a pool of 10, 15 people.
So your chief tallying agent was in your house, not at the constituency or the county tallying center. Is that correct?
My tallying agent was personal to me.
Okay. And for your seat, did you have a constituency tallying agent?
There were constituency tallying agents. There were
And was there a
also
county tallying
They
agent?
also county tallying agents.
Who was your county tallying agent?
And Abdi Shukri Hussein.
Abdi Shukri Hussein.
Yeah,
Who
Mohammed
was at the
Mohammed Shukri
county-
Hussein. Mohammed Shukri Hussein.
Who was at the county tallying center? Is
Yes,
that correct?
yes.
So Honorable Wajir, even he, Abdi Shukri, is not a witness in this election petition. Is that correct?
There wasn't anything raised with respect to the constituency county tallying center.
I'm just confirmed that he's not a witness in this election petition. So we come. So what I'm asking is that by the time voting started in Al-Das,
Yes.
most of the results in the other polling stations across the county had been announced.
Not at all,
Announced.
to the best of my view. Because a lot of let me explain your honor and how this happens. First of all, getting all the what do you call it? Form 37S from the polling stations to the constituency takes time. There are places that don't have network. There are many places in the county that don't have network coverage. So some of those results we only get to know when the guy gets into network and probably either sends to the chief agent or he gets to the sub-county. So
Let's just place you on the 9th. In which constituency tallying center were you based? Or were you doing it from your house?
on the 9th,
On the 9th or even the 10th? Where were you?
in my house mostly. On the
your
9th,
house? Okay.
I would probably come out, to the one or two polling stations, but mostly operating from my house and within the town.
So,
There are a lot of people in the town. There are hotels, there are wherever, so there are supporters.
Honorable Wajir,
They are the
I want you, the court just to report. On the 9th, you were in your house tallying center, is that correct?
Not tallying center.
In
I
your
said
house?
I was running.
In your house tallying, what do you want
center
tallying?
in my house.
Your house tallying. A witness even said, Mr. Bishar, who's your neighbor, he had seen the computers in your house and the
Yes,
setup in your
I was running a
house.
tallying center. Yes.
So that tallying was in your house, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, what I'm asking is a different question. On the 9th, you were in your house. After you
I was in
voted
Wajir town.
in Wajir town,
Yeah.
were you at the tallying center is my question.
Which tallying center?
Wajir East, Wajir West, Wajir... Were you in
No.
any of the constituency tallying centers on the 9th?
No.
Were you in any of the constituency tallying centers on the 10th?
Constituency tallying centers?
Yes, constituency.
No.
I'm coming to the county.
No.
When was the first time you got to the county tallying center?
And when the results were about to be declared, that was on the
You've been in this for 3 years.
yes,
For
on
three times.
the evening of the 12th.
On the evening of the 12th.
Because by that
first
time,
you
I
went
had gotten the results from all my chief agents, and I knew what everyone had gotten.
So you were not at any of the tallying centers as on the 9th or the 10th,
Yes.
or even the 11th, is that correct?
Yes.
So
But
you
I was in
can-
communication with my agents.
No, just listen to my question. So you cannot verify to the judge when any of the results were delivered to any of the constituency returning officers, is that correct? Because they are delivered to the constituency returning officer to be verified as required by law.
I
Talk
had
about your
chief
house.
agents. I had chief agents.
The chief agents will come and speak for themselves. I'm talking
No,
about you.
no, my house is my own personal parallel tally.
That's true.
Yes.
That is a parallel. Forget about that one.
Yes.
That one is not official. In
Yes.
fact, it
It's
doesn't
not
exist
official.
for purposes
Yeah.
of the law.
Yeah. But I
Well,
have
I'm
chief
asking-
agents in each of the sub-counties.
Honorable Judge, the simple question I'm asking, were any results submitted by any presiding officer to your house?
To my house. Presiding officer to my house.
Yes.
No, not at all.
Yeah, precisely. So that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying-
Nothing was submitted to your house. They were all submitted to the constituency returning office. Is that not true?
Council, you say I've been in elections for so long. You also are a reputable election lawyer
Yes.
and a smart one at that.
And thank you.
And
So that's-
please, let me explain how the process works so you know this better. From the polling station, the chief agent is the one responsible to me and
Yes.
to my county-wide chief agent for the collating of those and giving me a result for the constituency.
That's right.
As to when we get to have a feel of individual polling stations, many things will affect that. The distances, the network. And this, you remember, I mean, you know that governors are counted last of the 6.
That's true.
Yeah, right? Depending on what time it's closed. Sometimes they'll even say to Mechoka, let's take a break and whatever. So it didn't happen that I received any significant results from any constituency that I know until when I got the final tallies myself
On the 12th.
on the morning of the 12th.
So what I'm putting to you, Honorable Jury, is this. The results are announced at the polling stations. And you've confirmed that you had agents in most of these polling stations.
Yes.
And then they are submitted by the presiding officers to the constituency tallying centers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you cannot testify. Did you visit any of the constituency tallying centers?
No.
You did
I
not.
didn't
Are
see
you
the need. I
aware-
had agents there. They
No,
did
that's
the
true.
same.
That's okay. You've already trust us.
Yes.
You had agents who are well trained and they were in all these places.
Yes.
Are you aware that at each tallying center, after each and every result was verified, they're projecting it on a screen?
Yes.
So that as the results came streaming in,
We were taking through that in the training.
yeah, and that's one of the transparency mechanisms deployed by IBC across the whole country. You would see the results that have been received, verified, and announced by the respective constituency returning officers. Is that correct? So, if you did not visit any constituency tallying center, you cannot verify how many results were already ready by the morning of 10th. Is that true?
On individual polling stations,
No, individual constituency tallying centers. Now I've taken you away from the presiding office, from the polling stations.
the tallying centers, individual, what do you call, constituency tallying centers.
And there was
I was monitoring those through my agents. You know, how far you guys, imefika wapi. And as soon as they're declared, I had it on my WhatsApp.
You had it on your WhatsApp?
Yes, as soon as declared.
That is declaration. I'm not talking about declaration. You know, I'm very clear about declaration.
Yes.
Declaration is when all the polling stations have come in.
As soon as they even verified, as soon as they verified, because they're in the hall with the returning officer. So they were updating me.
Would
As
they
soon as they
declare,
verified.
assume, if what you're saying is true, please confirm to the judge, they will not declare until all the polling stations are in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Even if, let's assume, one polling station, Wajir West has 102.
Yes.
If the 101 polling stations verified and the last one has not come in, they will not declare, although the 101 are projected on the screen. Is that true?
Yes.
So
Declare, yes.
Declare.
Yes.
I'm not talking about declaration. I'm saying the results are projected on the screen. So when 101 are on the screen, there's no declaration, but the results are there. You can see the individual tallies for the candidates. You can see who's leading and who's trailing. Is that true?
In total,
As from the results on the screen, yes.
that it's a summation as you go along?
Yes, you can tell. You can
I
add
can
up.
tell that. I haven't been to the tallying center,
Oh,
so
thank you. That's what I was getting to. So you're not at the tallying center, so you cannot speak to what numbers were at each respective tallying center on the morning of the 10th. Is that true?
on the morning of the 10th.
Yes.
On the morning of the 10th, based on the calls that I made to all my agents, there was nothing. I can say that. Nothing. Yes.
I put it to you, your agents let you down, Honorable Wajir. Because there were results, your chief agent came here and confirmed through the process that he went through, most of the results have been projected, have been verified, and have been projected in the screen in Wajir West, which is where you come from.
On the morning of the 10th,
On the
my
morning
chief
of the 10th,
agents,
yes.
there was nothing to report in terms of results. So if you want to tell the court that there were results that were there on the 10th, then I think the proof is with you.
Ahmed, just the last question on that point. How many polling stations have not been counted by the morning of 10th? Other than Eldas?
Other than elders, by the
Counted,
morning,
not forget about the other declaration.
I wouldn't know, but I would probably, most,
Most have not been counted.
yes, most.
Is it your
Most
evidence?
of have not been counted or have been counted.
I've not received the counting on most
Not
of them.
received.
By the morning of
About
10th,
how?
you say, morning of 10th,
Yes, you know the election was on the 9th.
yes.
Then they started counting on the night and the night of 9th.
Yes, the
all
9th
the
of
way to
9th.
10th.
And we'll start with the president.
That's
We're
true.
talking for governor here, and MCA and all that.
Yeah. I'm just asking you, on the morning of 10th,
Morning of 10th, it depends on
how
what time
many
in the
polling
morning.
stations had not been counted?
I wouldn't
According,
know. I wouldn't
you're
know.
in constant communication with your agents.
Most of them, they have not given us the results by the morning of 10th.
Not you receiving have not been counted. You do not know.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Now, so the complaint about Eldas and the adjournment was not from the results. Did you visit Eldas
No, I
on
didn't.
the 10th?
No, I don't visit elders on the 10th.
You never went to Eldas on the 10th
I never went to elders on the 10th.
in any of the polling stations?
In any of the polling stations.
Do you know Bishar?
Sure.
You're saying which one?
On the morning of the 10th, I'm asking whether
Bishar who, sir?
you're saying he's not one of your neighbors.
No, you're not one of my neighbors.
Do you know him?
I know him, yes.
And were you in communication with him?
In communication with him.
Yes, Mr. Bishar.
He sent me
Do
a
you have
message to
any
congratulate me
meeting?
when I won. That's
No,
what.
not before the congratulations.
And
If he doesn't know you, how would he congratulate you?
I know the guy.
Oh, you know the guy.
Yes, I know the guy. He attended one meeting when I was meeting his clan elders,
So
and he congratulated me, telling me Usinisao. I have the message on my phone.
How would you tell Usinisao if he doesn't know
I can show it to the judge.
How would someone say Usinisao if he doesn't know you?
No, when I won. That's what I'm saying. I know the guy.
Is he your neighbor? That's my question.
No, he's not my neighbor.
Your house?
Yeah, it's not. I can describe to you who my neighbors are on either side. Where I live. Okay, everyone here knows.
Yeah. I think we've known each other for a long time. With your house.
Yes.
So, but you know Bishar?
I know Bishar.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
you have responded.
And he's quite a character.
What's his profession?
He's a teacher in a disabled school. And he wants fraudulently open a dispensary. We have to raise money for him. 7 million shillings to get him out of Azare. Yes.
How long have you known him?
I'm related to his mom, so I know him for a long time.
No, how long have you known him?
Many years.
Many years.
Yeah, for as long
So,
as
so
I've known
it's
him.
somebody who knows you, is that true?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's somebody who knows you. And you contested this election for three times.
Yes.
And so you would say that you're well known in Wajir County.
Oh, yes, jury is known.
So you cannot be confused with any of the other 8 candidates. Is that
Yes,
true? Is that true?
yes, yes.
Ah, okay. Now,
And
you
the
confirmed-
trademark hat as well.
So there's no possibility any person in Wajir would confuse you for Elmi or
Elmi.
for the former senator
If they haven't seen me, I mean, you know, Wajir is also big, I don't know.
No.
But most people know me. Yeah, I've seen.
People know you, and you've campaigned throughout the 6 constituencies, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have agents in all the polling stations in Eldas, is that correct?
Yes, we posted agents. I mean, with agents, you remember, I mean, you probably know that you can't really verify whether 100% they attended, but at least I know we posted agents everywhere.
Did you read the affidavit of Bishar bin Mohammed?
Yes, I read it. Yes.
Where did he say you were on the day of the election?
He made an allegation that I was in Tula ward or Tula township. He made many allegations. You know, the ward is big.
No, just ask me.
If you just direct me there, please.
Yes, yes.
What page is it?
Do you have a copy of your petition?
Yeah.
He places you at Tula Secondary, and in your affidavit, you have responded to everything except this issue. If you look at paragraph 26, let's go to your paragraph 26. Governor Joe?
Oh, my affidavit?
Yes, 26.
Yes.
And you see, you said this about at 26, I never in person through proxies.
It's in Tula ward and in Tula township.
Just read paragraph 26. I asked you whether you had read his affidavit before you responded to it. And you say, at the disclosed areas polling station, you're very specific. Jigjiga, that's a polling station, is that correct?
Yes.
Tula ward, then Tula township, and Eldas primary school are specific wards, polling stations.
I don't think to be into Tula township or to Tula ward. And you know, look at the contradictions in his own. If you look at paragraph 23 of the main petition, Your Honor, which is on page 7. No, I want to clarify that because this is important.
For Bishar, or you're talking about the petition?
The petitioner and Bishar, he's saying it's through my supporters that I was in Tula. It's my agents. And Bishar says it's me.
No, I'm
so
saying,
are you accusing me or are you accusing my agent?
I
was not in Tula myself.
You're accusing all of you.
Yes.
It's
So
not you. Your agents,
can I just point this out to the court? Because this is important. It has to do with what you're asking me.
No, just answer the questions, then you point out.
Yeah.
So you do not controvert that you were at Tula Secondary School?
I was not in any polling station
you
in
did not
Eldas.
say that under oath, is that correct?
I thought that would suffice. That I was not in Tula ward. I haven't been there.
Now,
And Tula secondary, primary, township, wherever, they're all in Tula ward.
now
And I'm saying to the court, I have not been in any polling station in Eldas on the 10th.
Let's look. I'm looking at your affidavit and I'm placing it next to what.
On page 15, paragraph 26.
Just look. I'm saying, then you go and start at paragraph 28
Mm-hmm.
and you start addressing his affidavit.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I have been shown the witness affidavit of Bishar bin Mohammed, in which you have been in this long enough. Who are the parties to appellate? Do you name everyone involved in an election, or do you name the people who are the primary parties in an election petition? Do you name all the people who the candidate talked to and the chief agents, or do you name the candidate who was declared the winner and the IBC?
You would, but if the candidates name.
In your petition in 2017, who did you name? Who are your respondents? Let's start there.
My respondents, then I would ordinarily make that the guy who was returned and his deputy and the IBC.
Remember, this is no longer time ago. Who are the respondents?
And the then governor.
Ambassador Mahmoud, yes.
Yes.
IBC
I'm not
the
even
county
sure whether his
returning
deputy
officer.
was whatever, but
There are only three
IBC.
parties.
Yeah,
And there are only three parties, is that correct?
I wouldn't remember, but
And you remember one of your complaints against Ambassador Mahmoud is that he was cleared without the necessary papers, and you succeeded in that complaint, is that true?
yes.
And so you did not name the Commission for Higher Education and all those other people who were involved in that process, is that true?
Yes, I did.
But you were successful, is that true?
But I could have chosen to name them if
But
I
you
wanted.
didn't.
It depended
For
on
the
me.
simple reason they were not necessary parties, is that true? So let's come back to
Not
so
at all.
is that not true?
Not
So,
at all.
and if this allegation against Mohammed Elmi, you feel very aggrieved about it, you have the right to call him as a witness to rebut the allegation against him. Is that true?
I didn't find it necessary. But as I say, Elmi
He was the fellow.
was arrival
Yes.
on the 9th,
Yes.
on the 10th, on the point of declaring results, just like the petitioner.
The time this petition was
And
filed,
then
was
maybe
no
we
longer
will
arrival.
just
Is
like
that
the
true?
petitioner did, yeah.
At the time you're filing your response is no longer arrival. The results were long gone. You could have called him as a witness.
I called all of them the next morning, including the petitioner. And they all wished
No, no,
me well.
I'm
That's
saying-
the only time I called them.
No, I'm saying at the time of filing your response.
That's the only time I called them.
Oh, so he didn't call him to ask
The
him.
morning after the elections,
That was when
for the abundance of magnanimity, I called every single participant. And except one, I got all of them on phone. And they wished me well,
yeah,
including the petitioner.
yeah. And he said the same thing. If this election is not overturned, he'll support you. He said that on the oath and the judge had it.
Yeah.
He says, this is an audit of the process, and that's what we're here for. Now, you say you know Mohammed Elmi, and you talk to him, but you didn't call him, and so you're accusing him.
My support. He
Now,
was a rival.
so you're at 29.
And a serious candidate at that.
No, that's-
Actually, I'm surprised he didn't come second.
That's why I didn't come second. He abandoned his candidature on the 10th. That's why he didn't come second.
No, not at all.
Now,
Is in Tula Tula Township. Township means a town, my friends.
no.
Township means a town.
These were polling
So
stations.
I was, listen, whether it is secondary or primary or whatever, they are all in Wajir Township, Tula Tula Township. Just the way you will talk of Wajir Township. So, for you to have addressed people at a particular station in a particular town, you ought to have been in that town.
It didn't
I
say
am
so
telling you, I
everywhere.
was not in Tula Tula town that day at all.
Just look at paragraph 28, 29. You do not.
Not even within 10 kilometers of Tula Tula town,
Now,
let alone its polling stations.
this is a witness who placed you there, and you answered him directly.
And I have the right to respond to that witness. I'm telling
And what
you
I'm
here,
saying-
I was not there.
And you just confirmed.
As not a witness, I will take seriously, personally.
No, you don't take him seriously for the court. You don't take him seriously for the court. Because he was at the testimony. And we took him seriously because he was cross-examined for almost 2 hours. And he never cracked.
That's a lie. He lied in court.
He was under oath. So I'm just telling you, he made it very clear. You answered about Tula Tula Township, and you talked about Tula Tula Secondary School, 2 different polling stations.
My understanding of township is not the polling station, it's Tula Tula town.
That's what you understand,
Yeah.
but that's not what he was saying. He was talking about a polling station where the voters were.
Yes. And I want
Now-
you for the record, Your Honor, that
Let's
I
move
did
on.
not visit Tula Tula town or any of its polling station, primary, secondary, or whichever. These agents, supporters,
You say at the disclosed polling stations.
or informed voters in Eldas constituency at the
At
disclosed polling
They're very
station.
specific at the disclosed polling stations.
So that's what I was accused of.
Yes.
I was responding to what you raised, what petitioner raised.
What the petitioner's witnesses testified to.
Yes,
So you only specify at the disclosed polling stations.
yes.
It is.
I woke up a bit late, called my agent, all was well.
So let's pause there.
Yeah.
You slept.
Yes, in the morning after Subhi, I called my agent. Is the process starting? Yes.
Mm.
Then the kind of
You took a break. For how long?
Yeah, couple of hours.
And you woke up at the whole time?
No,
Lunchtime?
well before Dhuhr, about 11 thereabout.
Around
Yeah,
11.
yeah.
Oh, so that's the time you took a
Yes,
siesta.
yes.
By which time all the results had come through. Is that true?
Which results?
When you are asleep.
Which ones?
The one you missed when you were sleeping.
None. I woke up and I started calling my agents. Is everything okay? Because in the morning, before I slept, I called them, the couple of them.
Yeah.
I called my chief agent. Is the polling starting? And he said yes.
Now,
Once that I knew the polling was on, we'll rest. Nikaamka nikauliza all was on.
so
I have agents. And this time, I put a lot of effort into that.
I will come to that. We'll come to that. Yeah. Now,
And I trusted my agents.
now in this.
From Wajir West, 1,917,
1917.
which is 8.91% of the votes.
All the votes.
And yeah, and if you look at that, you would see that of that, 1,497, which is a huge percentage of that figure, I don't know why, is from Adi Masajida ward.
Where?
That is where his
Where the Ajuran.
Ajuran are predominant.
Yeah. You said you got 1,000?
917. Yeah.
Okay.
917.
Dr. Elvis, as to what, you know,
Which
remember,
numbers? Which numbers?
I placed you.
Which ones?
You know,
let's
you're
separate them.
referencing, I placed you
Yeah.
where you are on the 9th and 10th and 11th.
Yes.
You are told.
Yes.
Now, your chief agent for Wajir West came here.
I don't know about Kim's kit numbers.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you do not know.
Yes.
Your agents knew.
And I don't know where they also got them from.
No, so I'm just telling you. Yeah, so I told you where they came
But
from.
in my supplementary affidavit,
Yes.
I know, and I asked this my lawyers, that he claimed to have gotten them on the 30th of August.
No, that's not our evidence.
Yeah. Right?
That is not our case.
Yeah.
This
So how he got them, I think that's for the court and IEBC. But what I can speak to is the Form 37As,
thank you. Let's pause there.
Bs,
Let's speak
and
about
C,
37A.
and the percentages.
No, Governor, let's speak there. Let's start there.
Yeah.
From 37A. 37A. There's nothing in this form that tells you anything about the KISS. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so at the tallying center, if you want, and even under the regulations, and even at the polling station, at any point in time, an agent can ask about the information. You're not aware of that? Okay, fair enough, thank you.
My agents, when they take the stand.
Yes, so your agent, and that's why, he took a stand, that's why I'm taking you there. He came and verified that this information was given.
And he verified that.
Now, just confirm in your affidavit where I was going is that there is, you, other than saying you do not know where these figures come from and you verified now you do not know where they come from, you have not answered that in your affidavit.
See, in my supplementary, in my additional affidavit,
Yes.
I
We can go there.
disowned everything is holding the Kims.
But you don't know how the Kims operate, Governor.
Yeah, so how do I respond to something I don't know how to operate?
Precisely, you leave it alone. If you don't know. These numbers from the basis of not knowing, is that true?
Not at all.
But you
What
just
I
confirm
know,
now.
What I know.
Yes.
Because here, what we've attacked here is
And that's the only thing you responded to.
statistics, and you said I know numbers, and I know lawyers don't give you numbers. If I got 90% in most of the polling station, how then do I, in his presumed strongholds, what he got and what they got in total, the candidates from that place. In fact, I can prove to this court with numbers that I did worse off in my backyard than they together did in their backyard. In most of the places, they were getting between 85 and 100%. There are 4 candidates. That is what I was responding to here.
Yeah,
as to the Kim's kit, how they were generated, whether fraudulent or otherwise, that is for IEBC to do.
And that's exactly that. You did not complain. I mean, you did not only say one thing. When you look beneath the numbers and then you look at the discrepancy in the Kim's kit, that is where the complaint is.
I don't know about discrepancy in the Kim's kit. I don't know how the information was obtained, where it is from.
That's fine.
The agents also don't know how they were obtained.
No, the chief agent spoke. So you did not respond to that complaint. Is that correct? In your affidavits. Other
To disclose what the turnout for the Kim's kit was,
now,
where he got the alleged turnout by the Kim's kit, and how the said turnout differs from the reflection.
now time to page 15. It's good to
What
read.
else do you expect me to say? Okay.
No, Governor, that's why you're a man of figures. That's what I'm saying. Let's turn to page 15.
Page 15. I was ahead. I don't know what he was subtracting.
In fact,
Every which way he subtracted.
and that's why you got confused that you didn't do the maths properly. Because if you had done the maths properly, at the end of that mathematics,
You see, if the
your
numbers
votes
had
gone
some
down to
source,
15,000. Is that not correct?
if they had a credible source and a rational source, surely an FCPA would have made sense of them. My response to that was the paragraph 69, which says the petitioner has failed to disclose the source of the information he pleads as statistics on assisted voters, identification of voters per Kim's kit. I put him to see. You see, as to where he gets the numbers of people who weren't captured by the thumb, I wouldn't know, because IEBC has filed the forms. How many they were, I would not know.
So, Governor Jill.
How many they were, I wouldn't know. But for those that were IEBC has already given you a response
Okay, thank you.
and
So
filed
my,
the forms.
my very simple question
And my
is-
agents have not complained about that. They didn't see anything wrong with that. When I
And
asked
that
them,
sounds-
they said people are identified by the thumb.
Your
If they
agents
want
did complain.
alphanumerically,
Yes.
register, we have no issues. So I have no issues.
So, Governor Jir, and that's exactly the complaint. They were not complaining because the numbers favored you. They were
So it is going to tell us where this scheme skits data was obtained.
so
How? And IEBC to say whether they were theirs
And the last
or
two
he had
questions
his own
were-
Kim skit somewhere else.
Governor Jir, did you ask your agents in this respective polling stations to verify these numbers in Wajir West constituency?
Which numbers?
This one's pleaded at paragraph 50.
The 37A numbers.
The ones about the supervised voters in those respective polling stations.
They couldn't say how he got his numbers.
They did not know.
Yes.
And none of
But
them
they
has
know
one
that
affidavit.
for everyone who filled, who was assisted alphanumerically or through the, what do you call it, the printed register, IBC did the process as per law.
Okay.
That my agents confirmed.
And
This shows that here I won by 4,000, here by 5. But IBC says I won by 8,309.
the last question.
What he's deducting, we don't know.
Let me ask
If the system was working for him, why didn't he end up with the same result in every deduction?
Because you're not deducted, because you got confused. Is that what the answer was?
I said I don't know what he was deducting.
Yeah, precisely. And I'm telling you now. So let's go
But
there.
every which way he deducted, I won.
Governor, let's go
And
to that
every which
deduction.
way he deducted, he came with different figures. And he doesn't tell us the source of what he's deducting.
No, that will address his submissions. When are results disregarded in your training?
When are?
Results disregarded by the IBC.
What I know, and there could be many
And
instances,
where?
I don't know. But what I know is, if in a particular polling station,
Yes.
more people vote than are registered,
Yes. Yes.
then those results are disregarded.
So the results are announced by the presiding officer, and those are filled in the form 37A. Is that correct? And then they are submitted to the constituency returning officer. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the person who rejects them is the constituency returning officer. If he is convinced that the numbers declared in the form 37A exceed the registered voters, that is one of the that's one criteria, correct?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you aware of there's a second criteria under the election regulations where the numbers indicated in the form 37A exceed the people who turned out to vote?
The people who turned out.
To vote, yes. That's
vote.
regulation 83, yes.
So would that be saying the same thing? Or how is that
No,
different?
no, no.
Yeah.
One is when they exceed the registered numbers in a polling station.
Yes.
That is one criteria. I
Yes.
am in agreement with you.
Yes.
The second criteria
Uh-huh.
is when the people who turned out to vote were 100,
Who
But-
turned out to vote? Per
Yes.
vote?
and that's why I bring you Kim's
Yes. Uh-huh.
The ones who are biometrically identified,
Mm.
and that's why the biometric identification was introduced,
Yes.
you are aware of that,
Yes.
are 100.
Uh-huh.
But the result has, and I could give you the regulation we read so I can ask you the question. Is that fair enough?
No, it's okay, just say it. I
That one
understand.
is a legal issue.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
So you learn and you make some.
Then the data of everyone who was alphanumeric and whatever, he doesn't disclose that to us. Because that happens at the polling station, and my agents told me there was no problem.
Yeah, that's what your agents told you. And so the question was, do you know where this rejection takes place? At the tallying center.
At the
When
tallying
the
center.
presiding officer brings his results for
Yes.
verification,
I know
the
if
constituency returning officer is meant to look at those numbers to see if they add up.
for
You
any
don't know
polling
what's over.
station, if for any polling station,
Yes.
and the PO and brings a form where one has scored more than the registered voters, then it's cancelled. That I know.
And now to the clan dynamics, which is my last area.
Oh yes. Come to court and say they are sent subclans of the Degodia in court.
So the question is,
It
2017,
means he doesn't even know the subclans.
the 2017, is
Yeah.
it not true Ambassador Mahmoud was endorsed by the Degodia elders?
No, not at all. Very untrue.
He didn't get any endorsement?
Not at all. There was no process agreed upon. In fact, I had a bigger Degodia endorsement in terms of the weight of people who endorsed me. It was endorsed by the political brokers in this town. Then, just like this one was now.
Was there a process where he was endorsed? Was there a process where he was endorsed? What
I'm saying he did his own endorsement. I did
But he
my
was
own,
endorsed.
and on the same day, and mine had a bigger crowd and more weighty elders.
In your perception.
Yes. And in 2022, I was the first one to be endorsed by at the Godia city.
Did you
On the
receive
18th,
Did you receive a
he had not even
certificate?
declared his interest by that time, by the way. On the 18th of October, 2021,
Was the petitioner endorsed by the Degodia elders?
he was endorsed by a bunch of his friends at Pan-Africa here.
He was endorsed by elders.
Retirees who wanted jobs from him, and I see some of them in court, endorsed him at Pan-Africa. He was not endorsed by any
Where were you
Godia
endorsed?
clan. Yeah?
Where were you endorsed?
Me.
The process, yes.
In Wajir, I called 300 Godia elders, first of all, from each of the sub-clans, a gathering in my house. Later on, I went, I went individually to each of them. Listen.
You want
To
to
each
tell the
of them,
court
one
that
by one.
In that process for the community, you endorsed in your house.
Oh yes, the meeting happened in my house. It's a big hall. You know, I was governor before.
And
Some of the candidates are IDPs. They don't even have homes in Wajir. Alhamdulillah, God bless.
you call people, you give them lunch, they endorse you, and then you come and call that a community endorsement.
Not at all. These were the who is who in the community. And then, as I said, after that, and this is public information, each sub-clan of the 10, other than his and mine, because I'd always, for me to go to the others, I had to get my endorsement from my sub-clan. Each of the other 10 sub-clans of the Degodia endorsed me individually, save for his.
They endorsed you in your house as well?
No. In their houses, those ones, in different places.
So they all did their own private.
Yes. And some in hotels.
So
They will tell me the venue.
So you can.
Mzee Minataka endorsement. Then you go to the Sultan. They will tell you, okay, let's do it on this date in this place.
So you confirm
Yes.
that is not the community endorsement you got in 2013. Is that correct? It's different.
There was a process agreed of picking 2 people in 2013. In 2017 and 18, as I said, each one sought their own endorsement.
So everyone went out to ask for support
Yes,
from the
yes.
different clan.
But mine was done by the key elders on the ground, not job-seeking retirees in Pan-Africa.
How do you know people just
My view.
How do you know anyone was seeking a job? Were there any jobs?
Some
from
are
your
so
part before
bitter
elections?
because, you know,
You know what I'm saying? It's in your permission to disregard them, but who was seeking for any job in any of those interviews?
you know, some of these things are public notoriety. It's a small place. We know each other. We talk.
In your endorsement in 2013, how many people did you offer jobs after that process?
None. Most of them were
In
elders.
2017.
None.
And in this election,
In this election,
the elders that you disparaged, none of them work for the county government. Is that not true?
the elders
In-
that I...
That whoever
You see, the ones on the ground
who
are
endorsed-
elders. You know who are elders mostly? Let me tell you who elders are.
Community elders.
There will be community elders, mostly either retired chiefs or retired councillors or, you know, what are they called? Respected chairman of communities
And even
or religious leaders.
Yes.
But the ones who endorsed him here were people who just retired last year and the other year. They had no grassroots connection whatsoever. Somebody who's not been there for 30 years, endorsing someone here. They have no following of whatever sort, even in their sub-clan. So that's my view. That's my view.
That's your view.
Yeah.
I'm just questioning you on that.
You know, the elder system in politics, why it's important is the elders are revered. So people would ordinarily listen to the elders. Of course, there are certain elders who wouldn't be listened to based on their shenanigans and how they move from one to the other and whatever. But on average,
But
if
that-
you
that's a
get
decision
an
to be made by the
endorsement,
community. Is that not
if
correct?
you get an endorsement of who is who in a particular sub-clan, it's not to say the whole sub-clan will vote for you, but you are likely to get a majority.
The Degodia community, does it have enough?
Being in the news for all the wrong reasons in my absence, and being in, you know, in the news for all the right reasons, and how their lives were changed, the things I did, that is what people are nostalgic about.
Ambassador Mahmoud Abdi is not here, so his history will judge him in terms of what he performed.
Oh yes, yeah.
So-
So you asked me the question, I got to answer.
No, I was asking you about the criteria of endorsement among the Degodia.
We know.
So I'm saying, is there an official list of who you would table and say, these are the recognized elders, these are the recognized ulama, who are the religious leaders, and these are the recognized leaders of the different subclans?
You know,
is there such an official list?
there isn't official list, but for instance, if you are being backed in public and the chairman
Of?
of the preachers and imams of Wajir. Countywide, chairman of preachers and imams of Wajir, who is a religious leader and who is a Degodia, takes the podium for you. It will be known who has weighty elders.
So
we know each other basically.
So
there's no list. There's no list I can scratch off my sleeve to tell you this one is a good list and this is a bad list. But we know each other.
You cannot dismiss one list.
Incorrect, not true. Because by that time, I think everyone will have decided where they are, first of all, going to vote. And you can't talk about clan sympathy when you could not have held your own sub-clan together. You know, for you to first of all hold a clan together. So, you see, the Degodias are so large in terms of the Wajir politics that clan is not important.
The Degodias are so large that it would be unimaginable for an Ogaden to win in Wajir. Is that not true?
It's not unimaginable because if you're not cohesive, they can win. And there's nothing that would have been wrong should Ogaden have won.
So,
not because they're more than the Degodia, but they held it, you know, their numbers together better. And it happens sometimes.
So
it's not always that the largest clan or the sub-clan wins.
Just listen to me. And therefore, anyone telling a voter who doesn't know the numbers, as you say, you got them on the 12th, a person who doesn't know the numbers, that the Ogaden client is winning, will have an effect on how they cast their vote. Is that not true?
Not to the best of my best of my opinion, because everyone would have determined in any case, largely, the Degodias will vote for a Degodia candidate.
Yes.
Largely, but we are 6 of us.
Do you know how many votes the?
And you know, you see, and also, we cannot make social media propaganda the basis of a petition, because I have here, and I know this guy took the stand. I'm not introducing anything new. This is one of his chief bloggers who was a witness here, called Farhan. Farhan posted this on social media, saying, Dr. Hassan Fuje leading as per now, followed by Werer. Tell elders, let us vote for Dr. Hassan Mohammed Fuje. This was one of his bloggers saying this.
I don't know what that is you're touching, because it's not on record.
Farhan was here. He was asked this in court. These are his bloggers. So he's accusing me of the things he was doing.
So if you knew Farhan and you have that information,
I didn't know Farhan, by the way. I just got to know him through the court process. Because I followed the court process. Even if I was not here, I was following.
So the question is this. Do you know how many votes Ahmed Ali Mukhtar got in Eldas?
In Eldas? We could check that.
Check.
For 2 places. No, didn't listen. I'll tell you why.
No. Did any of the candidates come from Eldas constituency?
I was endorsed in Eldas as the Eldas candidate. They're part of the Greater Wajir West. They were hived off from Wajir West. And they are professionals and religious leaders.
You come from Wajir West?
Yes.
You said where you are home and where your clan and everything comes from.
Yes.
So
which included Eldas until 2013.
Yeah, that's fine.
It included Eldas
until
until 2013.
Separate constituency. So Eldas was a neutral constituency. Is that
not neutral. It can't have been neutral in that respect. Not to me.
Precisely. Now you answer my question. It was not neutral because of the negative campaign.
No.
Because then on the 11th.
No. Not at all. Because they had already endorsed me.
On the 10th.
They had already endorsed me.
Because of the Ogaden candidate allegedly was leading. Is that not true?
Not true at all. Not true. I think it's just a happening that happened as a result of that violence, which caused the postponement, and they're now trying to make a case out of it. It affected us all the same. It affected senators, and there were Ajuran senators on the ballot. There were Ogaden senators on the ballot. There were Ogaden women rep on the ballot. There were Ajuran women rep on the ballot. None of them has come to court. Elders didn't affect them.
Just look at your figure. Any other candidates get 50 in Eldas? Candidate get 50 in Eldas.
What would you say of Dr. Ali? He's not a Degodia. He didn't get 50.
Yeah, because the campaign was not against him. The campaign was against the Degodia so that people could rally behind you.
But Dr. Ali is not a Degodia. He got more than 50. Let's check. Dr. Ali is Ajuran.
No.
Because Dr. Ali is Ajuran. He's not Degodia.
And the campaign.
Why do you want to compare Werer's votes with the rest of the Degodia candidates? Let's compare with Professor Warfa, a very serious professor. Let's see how much he got. Yeah, let's look at Wajir South. Where's Eldas? Where's Eldas? I want to see. No. The court must know how much Warfa got. No, but I want to answer. My answer.
The question, the unfortunate thing is that he has the right to both sides.
The question is
Warfa is Ogaden Mohammed Zubair Subclan. Where is Ogaden Mohammed Zubair Subclan? Let's compare the two.
So let me say, so they didn't want any
Dr. Ali is a Juran.
What you garnered in Wajir West constituency?
To the best of my record, I can check here 12,238.
12,000.
Yes. And also that's probably the smallest I ever got for the 3 elections.
So so you got 12,000.
Yes.
Roughly 12,000. Yeah.
It's the least I got
Yeah.
in the 3 elections.
Well, you remember what you got in Wajir West constituency in 2017?
It's something in the region of 13,000.
13,000.
Yes.
So you even did better in 2017 in Wajir West constituency than you did.
Percentage-wise, because the votes were also less.
Yeah, percentage-wise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the candidature of Siad and the candidature of Mohammed Yusuf had an impact. It's just that these people were praying for a much bigger impact, which didn't happen.
So the votes you garnered
Yeah.
are statistically comparable to what you got in 2017 and 2013. You
Yes.
say that to the court?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought Najir said he couldn't remember the figures.
No, I said for Wajir West. The ones you asked me were for Wajir West. I think it's about that. Even that I'm not exact, but I know this was probably. I expected slightly higher.
Constituency.
Yeah. Under the circumstances, I expected slightly higher.
Okay. Will you know what the petitioner got in Wajir West constituency?
The petitioner, what he got in Wajir West constituency. The petitioner in Wajir West constituency, and he had no deputy governor nor a senator. Okay, he had a senator from Wajir West, the Sajida side, I could say maybe, but he had no deputy governor. Had 1,187. 1,187.
When he didn't have his running mate for
Yes, his running mate was not from there. Mates from Wajir West. One for UDA and one for an independent candidate.
Will you know what percentage average-wise votes you garnered in Wajir West?
56.87%.
56.87%.
Yes. 87%.
87%.
Yes.
Only.
Yes.
Okay.
Seven, percent, which is 1,000. I got 7.28%.
Which is what number?
1,371. But I would, which has a minority, non-Phi subclan of the Degodia. Chalbag is largely inhabited by the Degodia, which is the petitioner subclan. But in that particular ward, there is a significant minority of a subclan by the name of Umal. And I had a strong ODM MCA candidate. That's why that explains a big percentage of the votes I got in Tarbay. Take out the Umal and probably I'll be doing.
Mathematically correct.
Yes.
That more than 98% of the votes in Tarbat went to the 5 candidates.
Yes.
The 4-5 candidates.
Yes. That is correct, Your Honor. It's just that there was. Because Tarbak is also more homogeneous than Wajir.